What's up, everybody? My name is Ryan Jones, and I am the host of the program Ryan with an E, where we will have candid, honest, hilarious, and sometimes even serious conversation about the topics and happenings that are pertinent to young women and college students like myself. I will be opening up about my experiences as I navigate my way through adulthood, with the help of my homegirls, my role models, and of course, God. Thank you so much for tuning in to laugh, learn, and kick it with your girl, Ryan with an E. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Ryan with an E. I am your host, Ryan Jones. That's R-Y-A-N-E, and I'm so excited that you have tuned in to Kick It With Your Girl. Today, I am I can't even express how excited I am to have Miss Ivory next to me. She is our special guest. I've known Miss Ivory most of my life. She's one of my mom's best friends and like a second mother to me. Honestly, without her, I probably wouldn't have got into college. So I owe so much thanks to her. If you would like to introduce yourself to the people.
Absolutely. My name is Ivory Rollins Cross, and I am so thankful to be here. My passion is to help young people ignite the fire for their college journeys, get it done, and get it done where they still have peace of mind and they're still excited at the end of it to go to school. So I'm happy to be here. It's going to be great.
Yes. So as she said, we're going to be talking about college. I know that my target audience is young girls in high school and on their way to college, so they're thinking about what do I need to be doing, what steps do I need to be taking, and oftentimes most students aren't awarded the opportunity to have a Miss Ivory in their lives or have a school counselor that's making sure that they're crossing all the boxes and doing the right things to be on the right track to college. So this episode is just for you guys. I have a couple of questions for Miss Ivory, and she's going to help us answer them just to give you guys a better idea on how you need to be moving forward on your college journey. I know it can be nerve-wracking and scary, but have faith. I remember how nervous I was on my way to filling out applications and things like that, but I just want to let you guys know it's not that deep. It's deep, but it's going to be okay. That's what I want to say. It's going to be okay. So before we get into these questions, though, of course, y'all know we love our Queen's Corner. So I'm going to ask Ms. Ivory, do you have any advice or pieces of wisdom you would like to share with any young girls watching this show right now?
Absolutely. If I had to share one major thing for a young lady out there, I would say always take a beat or a deep breath before you make any major decisions. Lean into the people that you trust the most. It may be one person you may be blessed to have. Two, if you don't have one, please try to find and identify a trusted adult so that you can at least bounce those ideas off of them. And then finally, I would say trust your gut.
Well, thank you so much, the Queen of the Corner. Okay, so let's get into these questions. I know you guys are anxious about this, so let's get into it. So question number one I have for Miss Ivory is, what are 5 things every junior should be doing before entering their senior year?
So it's you're waiting too late if you start at junior year. So if you give me just a little liberty, what I'll say is, of the 5 things that you need to prepare for to start your college journey, your freshman year, you need to be looking and thinking about colleges and universities. You need to get on the internet. You need to do virtual college tours. You need to play around with it. You need to ask who in your community, who that you know, it is what schools they went to, and are they visiting any? Hey, this summer, hey, this spring break, aunt such and such, I know that you live in Atlanta, can I come? Because I would love to see some of the schools in Atlanta. Uncle Jerry, I would really like to come and visit you right outside of Chicago, because you need to see whether virtual life or in person, what it is you're getting yourself into. That's freshman. By the summer of your freshman year, I want you, whoever you are, wherever you are, to identify 15 schools that you be interested in. This is not an end-all, be-all. right? You're not signing your name on the dotted line, but you are being directed in your behavior, and share those 15 schools with that trusted adult or that trusted group of adults and get their feedback as far as what they want. When you go into your sophomore year, I want to suggest 2 more things. I want you to identify a college and career tour that you can participate in the spring or the summer after your sophomore year. So the spring of your sophomore year or the summer after. And with those 15 schools, I want you to make sure that during your sophomore year, you do all the virtual visits you can, any kind of engagement that you can do, even if you just say that you're interested by email to the admissions office. Get all of the literature that you can about those schools, because you need to really decide whether you like them or whether you don't. Also, during your sophomore year, I would suggest that each and every person think about what they know about school in high school, what they like, what they don't, what they know about where they live, where they're from, what they like and what they don't, and begin to write down where you'd like to learn in the next 4 years of college.
Right, you had me do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that means if you don't like the cold weather, that's just not your thing, any of those 15 schools that are going to be, 4 degrees at the height of winter, that's not where you want to be. Or, for example, let's say you love the city of Chicago in the summer. What we know is in the winter on the river, on the water, it's extremely cold and windy. So those are off your list. So your weather that you like, and also environment that you like. I like to be in the city. I like to have a Walmart or a Target readily available to me. I may not have a ride, so I want public transportation, versus I'm going to have a car, or I already have a car. Or I've been told I'm going to get a car when I turn 16 or 17. And I like outdoors. I like to be able to see the stars and the like. All of that absolutely matters. Finally, by the time you get to your junior year of high school, you should have taken that list of 15 down based on your criteria. You will have added any colleges or universities that you think are of interest based on what your research says. And the summer before your junior year, you need to begin to look at the applications online, what they require, and begin to write those statements. By October of your junior year in high school, you need to be prepared to have someone look over those statements, and you need to be prepared to submit all of your college applications in October of your junior year in high school. Now, will you submit those? Maybe not, but a well done, well prepared in advance application gives somebody that your trusted adult, your college counselor or school counselor and the like, a package to look at and to review.
Can y'all can already see, just like off the top of her head, she gave all that information. I just remember, I feel like just hearing that, like I was not off track or slow on my track, but I kind of waited because I was thinking, I have time, junior year, it's going to work out. But I do wish that I would have started my freshman year. Like, of course, I've always known I wanted to go to Howard, but I wasn't taking those proactive steps and making sure. So if you're someone who wants to stay on the right track, your parents are on your back, or you're just trying to figure it out, I definitely would heed to what Ms. Ivory said, making sure that, just understand that time is of the essence. You're not going to get anything back, and it'll work towards your benefit if you are being proactive as early as possible. Okay, so question number 2. So you've kind of covered this in what you said earlier, but how should one go about researching different schools? There may be students out there who've never had to make or had to start on a journey of comparing and contrasting different schools. So how would someone be conscious about researching about those different colleges?
Well, what's of great benefit now is that we have access to the internet. So really, I would say that each and every young lady has great opportunity to do some really extensive research on colleges or universities that they're interested in. And one way to do that is to really just go out on the internet, Google those universities that you've identified, or Google schools that you know somebody that you know someone has attended. And check out as thoroughly as possible the website. The website should be your first step to really getting to know what you want to know about a college or university. And the websites will give you really a first look at the subtle intricacies of each individual school, what the culture is at that school, what their interests are at that school, and the available programs, activities, and campus level involvement that's there and available.
Right. I remember like my first thing that I did, I would go on YouTube, and I'm sure other people do this as well, but I would look up Howard Move-In Week or Howard first day of classes, things like that. So YouTube was like my first go-to, because I got to see the dorms and how people decorated them, and that was, I know a lot of other people, if while you're also going on the websites and doing this thing as well, I think it helps to see somebody who actually is a student and is vlogging or just documenting their experience at the school. So I definitely recommend, if you haven't already, go on YouTube. I know y'all love it. Young girls love YouTube. So just go watch the videos and you'll get lots of information on that. Okay, question number 3. Okay, you covered this question already, but I just asked, how many schools should a student apply to?
I think a student should apply to at least 7 schools, but to me that's low. I think particularly now that young people have the opportunity to apply to a common app, what's called a common application. The common app, if you go online, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. That application is an application hub that supports, I don't know, over 50 colleges and universities, such that if you apply with the Common App Hub, that you can select one or more of those 50, and it will send out that one application that you complete to all of those universities. So with the prospect of the Common App being there, and then knowing that each individual person's college journey is going to be different, and they may be interested in schools that aren't on the Common App, I would say apply to the Common App and at least 6 other schools that aren't on the Common App at minimum.
Okay. I can't remember, I think I applied to maybe like 15 or so. And most of my schools that I applied to, they were on Common App, so that made my process so much easier. And if you're younger and being like, I don't know what the heck that is, you'll figure it out. It's like she said, it's just a place where you can apply to multiple schools with just one application. You fill it out and it sends it to each of your different schools, and it makes the process just so much easier. But yeah, I think most of mine were through the Common App, and it made it just so much less stressful because you don't have to keep track of all those separate applications. Okay, so this question may be really important to some of y'all, so get out your pen and your paper, or also just take some ease with this question, but how much does your GPA, ACT, SAT score, or AP or IB scores, how much does that weigh on your application?
So that's a layered question, but it's a great question because it's something, like you said, that everybody really wants to know. Okay, wait a minute.
Right.
How are they going to look at me? How are they going to evaluate me? And it is based on the universities and the colleges that you're interested in. What we know is that one of the greatest positive benefits from this pandemic and how it has affected everybody all over the world is that colleges and universities have been forced to rethink what it looks like to accept students. They've been forced to rethink what scholastic aptitude really is, if someone is college ready or not, because we have student scholars who are interested in certain subject areas that, because of the pandemic, weren't able to as greatly explore those areas while they were still in high school. We have student athletes whose whole seasons were either cut short or completely diminished. So colleges and universities absolutely understand that they've had to take a step back and reevaluate. That is to each and every one of our benefits, because the colleges and universities have had to, due to the major postponements or reschedules of ACT and SAT, IB testing, AP testing, and the like, have had to think about other criteria outside of standardized tests to evaluate students. So a strong essay is going to be the linchpin, I believe, in the next 5 to 10 years of college applying. Secondly, when we talk about GPA does give us a window into who the high school student is and has been for the last 3 or 4 years, depending on when they apply. So I would say do your very best to be critical about which subjects and which classes you take, and do your very best in those classes. Never be ashamed to get tutoring. Never be ashamed to secure outside or community help, because your GPA does give a localized picture of the kind of student you will be. But I don't anticipate that it will weigh nearly as heavily as it has in the past.
Yeah, I remember my GPA was pretty good. I think I had like a 3.8, but I was worried about the ACT, but like I wasn't too worried about it because I never really was studying for it. And that's something that I wouldn't say necessarily that I regret, but I do wish that my even my sophomore, junior year, I would have prepared myself, maybe gotten a tutor from my ACT, because I know that would have got me more scholarship money, or basically just the money, because I think I would have gotten into Howard with my score, but knowing that the money is a big factor, I think that would have helped. But I got like a 23, I think, and I had taken it 3 times and I had done really badly, and I was like, well, this is good enough. I don't really care. But I think people really do need to, I wouldn't, does it make sense what I'm saying?
It does.
Okay.
No, I'm following.
Whether or not standardized testing is something that you feel comfortable with, I just think that everybody should at least try to get the book, like the little study guide that they have, or find someone older than you who has had to take the ACT and did really good on it. Just try your best to get the best score that you can, but also don't stress yourself out too much about it, because like she said, schools are having to reevaluate the criteria that they're accepting students under. So it is a big deal, but I just think you have to be very, you have to have a lot of discernment about how much effort and how much stress you want to put into your test scores.
And I want to share 2 things about that, to be a little bit more specific, because I absolutely agree that this is great advice on your part, because everybody doesn't test well. Everybody doesn't. Some people feel heightened anxiety and the like. In addition to doing the very best that you can, but not taking it so seriously that you're overwhelmed, I would suggest taking the ACT and the SAT. Oftentimes people are more comfortable with one test rather than the other. And we're from Kentucky. ACT is huge in Kentucky, but the SAT is available to us. And what I've found is test takers of the ACT that aren't comfortable or as comfortable as they would like to be may do better taking the SAT. Any major college or university will accept both. Don't allow either your school counselor or a particular college admissions person suggest otherwise. ACT or SAT are both equally as acceptable as a standardized test. The other thing that I want to say is, if you know that testing creates great anxiety in you, or like yourself, you've taken it several times and there's no reason not to take it innumerable times. Take it as many times as you like, and I would suggest starting at freshman year. But in addition to that, if you have the availability to take college level courses for dual credit at your high school, do that. because when they're evaluating your college application and they see that maybe your ACT or SAT scores aren't as competitive as the incoming class of freshmen, but you have done well, A's, B's, in college level dual credit classes, they know that you can handle it. And that's what an application evaluates.
Okay, so our next question is, what are colleges looking for in a student? How can someone make themselves stand out amongst 10,000 or 20,000 applications?
Absolutely. So I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again because it's very important. I would suggest that while you're surfing the internet, while you're on YouTube, while you're on Instagram or any other social media app, Twitter and the like, that you identify people that go to the colleges or universities that you're interested in. Because the best insight as to what these universities and colleges want are alumni. So they don't have to be personal friends. They don't have to be someone that you know, although that does help because you can ask you can ask more questions of them. But alumni will give you great insight as far as how to stand out and how to get your application to rise to the top. The other thing is incorporate or utilize your counselor in your high school or any trusted adult as an advisor. They will be able to give you greater insight on how to stand out. I'll give an example on a standout application. Let's say that I'm applying to a liberal arts college or university and I'm interested in theater. Nowhere on the college application does it say that I have to submit a video or a monologue, but at the end of the application it says if there's anything that you'd like to add to give us better insight into who you are as a student, feel free to do that here. If I'm interested in theater, what better way to stand out and to give them, once the application gives me that room and permission, than a video. A short, less than 2-minute video that really highlights for someone. And think about it like a YouTube video. So creativity is what's going to get you that second look.
Got you. Okay, so next question is, how does someone go about writing their college essay? You talked about how big the college essay is going to have a way on the applications in the next coming year. So how does one go about writing the essay, and how does one avoid being cliche, and what are the things that colleges want to know about you in the essay?
Absolutely. So firstly, when I think about writing the college essay, the first thing that comes to my mind is write it several times, which means you have to start early and you have to be proactive. It may seem like overkill to start to draft these essays sophomore year, the summer after my sophomore year, but it's absolutely not, because it should go through 4 or 5 iterations and several trusted eyes or observers or readers before you submit it. And so several times is the first thing that I want to say as far as a college essay is concerned. Standing out with regard to an admissions committee, they want to know who they're getting. They want to know who you really are, an insight into the day in the life of, a week in the life of, a year in the life of this student. Because what they're doing is they're taking this information and they are putting it up against what they know their student body looks like. And they're trying to determine whether or not you would be an awesome fit. So as you research these colleges and universities and you know what the major interests, what drew you to a particular college or university, you want to, if possible, highlight what about you and your lived experience is same or similar, or what drew you to that particular college or university. How that reads from a standpoint of a committee is they already see themselves here.
Yes.
And if the student sees themselves here, how can I not?
I'm trying to think about my essay. I was, like you guys know, went to Sacred Heart, and luckily our teachers and our counselors were just very proactive about college because they want to make sure their kids get into college. And so in my English class, we had a specific unit at the beginning of our senior year that was just dedicated to writing our college essays. And so I was trying to figure out what to write about, didn't know what specifically I wanted to showcase about myself. And so I just started to think what's something that's about me that makes me individual. And I was thinking, oh, everybody calls me Baby Ryan. So that's what I kind of centered my essay about. And I talked about how people from my church call me Baby Ryan, my family, my aunties, everybody, and that kind of reveals that I've been brought up in a community that has given me lots of love, support, and basically just gave me a great foundation, and how, while that was my reality, I was fortunate to have such a strong community. That's not the reality for many other young black children. Some of them don't have any advocates, they don't have anyone that's rooting for them or sticking up for them, and how throughout college and throughout my career, I hope to aspire to be able to be an advocate for younger black children. And so I was able to tie in my own experience along with what I wanted to do and what I aspire to be in the future. And I mean, it got me into Howard. So I think it worked out. But I know a lot of people, they just write about I know a lot of people write about random things. It doesn't have to be super not professional, but do you know what I'm trying to
Absolutely.
People write about hot dogs or their first puppy or something random. So as long as it's individual to you, and like she said, just making sure that you align yourself with the school and are just being very intentional about how you're doing it, make sure you're doing multiple drafts, I think your essay will be fine, yes. So that was our last question. We're running out of time, but don't fret. We do have a part 2 coming up in the next episode, so make sure you guys tune in, because we'll be back here with Miss Ivory answering some more questions about making your college decision. But before we get out of here, y'all know we have to do my You Go Girl segment. And so, talking about college and applications, what better person than to use my girl? Her name is Gia. She has a business on Instagram called All Things College GT. She attends Spelman, so you already know she's that girl, and she basically gives that advice about college applications, finding scholarships, applying to scholarships. I used her services last semester when I was trying to find some extra money to put on this tuition, and she gave me a list of different scholarship applications. She had a meeting with me and we discussed my options, and she just got to know me so that she would be able to find different sources that I could check out. On her website, she said she teaches scholars how to secure the academic bag and pursue a debt-free degree. So she's amazing. Go hit her up. Everybody in high school or college, hit up Gia. And Gia, we're just so proud of you. You go, girl. Thank you so much, Ms. Ivory. I really enjoyed getting into these questions. We had so much fun talking about college. I know lots of our viewers have been waiting on me to talk about what they really want to hear about is college and these applications, so I'm happy to have you here with me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune in again. I'm dead serious. Look me in the eye. You're going to tune in next week because we have so much more information to give you guys. Like I said, my name is Ryan Jones. You're watching Ryan with an E, and I am logging out. Peace out. Bye.